Downloading Light live event. Online channeling for a live audience with Mariani. Welcome to the Downloading Light live event for May 2023. We were just having a brief discussion before we started about some of the energies and how it can be a bit busy at the moment. And certainly there's a lot of activity seems to be going on, which is not always a bad thing. Can be good, though, to find our balance in this. So to start us off tonight, I might start with Kiralee. Would you like to share your question with us?
Yes, sure. Thank you. In February, my dad passed, and I don't necessarily feel the need to try and make contact with him or get a message directly from him. However, I was just wondering if there was a general message about him or about his passing and what that means in terms of the shift that is unfolding in my life.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, sorry to hear of your dad's passing, or sorry for your loss, I shall say. I always know that when people cross, we go to somewhere definitely far more peaceful, but it doesn't mean that the rest of us here on earth aren't sort of left behind at times, or feeling certainly like we miss them terribly often. So yeah, sorry to hear that. Let's have a look at what the guidance is around this for you, Kiralee. Bear with me when I first talk about this, and I will obviously do my best to do it very sensitively. It does feel that where Dad has been moving on to, or the way he's been moving is certainly, you could say, upward and in peace and in the light. But the thing that sort of strikes me, what I was shown first, is that I don't know if it felt like this for him, but it does feel a bit like being yanked, perhaps him feeling like being pulled out of this lifetime, rather than sometimes a transition can be, obviously any number of ways. The part that I can say to you that is nice about this, that even if he did for himself experience it as feeling like he was pulled from one reality, so to speak, to another, I am showing that once he did, you could say, cross over, that he was at peace being pulled somewhere else. But I want to, I suppose, acknowledge that prior to that, though, here here on Earth, there was a feel of being, I would say it like this, perhaps feeling like he felt he was being taken away. And I don't know if that's had further implications for family members, loved ones, friends, etc. I wouldn't surprise me if you in particular or others did feel like he had been taken away also from you, as opposed to it being a different form of passing, or it being feeling like it was timely, or however we might perceive those things. So in that, for you, Kiralee, is to know certainly that he is at peace now, and you could say well and truly beyond and gone beyond any of what might have felt uncomfortable for him in that transition period, still here on Earth. For you and for your loved ones, the message that I more get is that this sense of you all filling yourselves up with love, and it may be filling up yourselves with love from each other as well as from yourselves and from something greater, however you believe, whatever you believe. But the first thing I'm showing, it feels that what may feel like a gaping hole, it just feels like it feels quite open, and it might almost feel a bit empty. The way the divine is showing me is to really let love fill that space. Love is what is going to be the healer for each of you who are, you could say, suffering perhaps in grief, or struggling with the grief. And interestingly, it's not being shown as love even from your father to fill this up, because his love is already there. but it is turning to one another right now, being kind to each other, being aware, even if there's sometimes subjects or interactions that feel a bit touchy, that you all keep coming back to the true knowledge that each of you are suffering, irrespective of how that might be being expressed or how it might even be coming out in communication or interpersonal kind of dynamics. It's because there is a pain in each of you, and it might almost formulate in a different way. For some, it's burning hot, having a burning ember and really hurting. And for others, it's a sort of a numb dullness within that they're feeling. But it's not to say that anyone is not in their own way grieving. Yeah. Yeah. Any further questions around that? Just because I do feel that's a delicate one.
Thank you. No, I don't have any further questions. I will reflect back to you that I have noticed a sense of calling to be there for each other more so, like not necessarily more so, but just on a different level.
Yeah.
To what we have been in the past, which has felt quite refreshing, actually. I guess there's a sense of newness there in the space that's left behind.
Yeah.
And just learning how to have experienced that different type of feeling and becoming more at ease with it.
Yeah, good. That would make sense, because it does feel there is that opportunity to do things differently. And I will say this, a sense of there's some bygones that really need to be left in the past. The more that some of you can let some of those bygones really be in the past and just almost connect right now on the unity of you're all feeling this loss, you're all feeling this sadness. Your dad does feel like he's been quite a significant figure in the family, you know, and to each of you in different ways. So it's that really being, as you've said, connecting in a way that perhaps you haven't before. And it's not always with words. It's sometimes in other ways as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for for trusting me and asking that question. Thanks. Okay. Jody.
Hello. Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize. Sin, my question tonight, and I just wanted to see if there's any message, anything that's coming through strongly from source.
Okay, for you and Jody, it'll probably make more sense to you than it does to me immediately. They're showing me as if there's certain small boxes that need to be packed and put in a corner and left alone, and that there is more space on the other side for you. It does feel around family. It does feel, I know we're coming into winter, but it does, the way they're presenting it to me, feels like it's outdoors. I don't know if you guys sometimes do things like even camping or something, but it feels like there needs to be room for space. And when I call it space, it's the space where you really just are. It's not planning, or it's not even discussing, even as a couple, future plans, or reviewing even, you know, your weeks with one another. It feels like almost going away as a family, taking this time and space out and letting nature almost be your guide in that. You know, when you're in the bush and there's a lot of trees sometimes, and it can be really lovely, but they're really squashed together. And sometimes you feel like even doing a bush walk, but you feel like, oh gosh, how would I even get in and out there? And then you see sort of a space that feels like it's a clearing and it's an oasis. In this respect, it's being shown that for you, your partner, your child, even, to be in the oasis of the space, not to even trek through all the bushes or feel like everything's sort of all around you or growing up even around you very quickly. It feels this space of pausing time almost, and it might only be for a weekend, but in a way that you all feel that you've felt into the moments and the minutes, just being with you three, I'm going to say as a unit. There is expansion coming to this family. And expansion doesn't mean it's disruptive or it's going to take away. And yet the way Source shows is that how could you call it? The energetic synergy of the three is what it is right now. And it's like being invited to feel into that more before other energy comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Not because that energy is wrong or bad. It's not. But it's almost an appreciation of this is how the now is. This is how we are as a family now, before, shall I say, further growing or expanding. Breathing into that, enjoying that, and soaking up every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
It will be good for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a nice perspective. And interestingly, it just seems to be, it opens up even more space. You could say even opportunity for you again. It's like returning from being away from that haven, coming back, and then almost feeling like you look out and the world feels more open yet again in possibility and potential and fun even for you all. So there does seem to be a message to take a bit of a time out. And you'll be okay. Yeah, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I have been feeling the need to sort of escape the city and have some sort of peace and quiet. So I like that now. I've got a very good excuse for a long weekend somewhere, somehow.
Good on you. And it feels like that. You don't need to wait for warmer weather. It's almost as if even if you're in an Airbnb and it's cozy, but you had some ocean view, or you walk out and the water's there and there's big parklands or something. It just feels like this thing of feeling into that space, shifting it up, enjoying that time together, then bringing back some of that space with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, total pleasure. Thank you, Jody. Derek, would you like to ask a question?
Hi, Sim.
Hi, Derek.
I'm just wondering, is there any kind of, I don't know, hard and fast rules in regards to the actual kind of questions or guidance that you ask?
No, you can ask universal guidance, you can ask personal guidance, you can ask business guidance, you can ask whatever guidance. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my question would be more of a kind of personal guidance. I guess I just want to know some, I don't know, maybe some guidance in regards to, my wanting to kind of start my own kind of family and just, have a bit of roadblocks at the moment with IVF. So yeah, if you can get anything from Source about that.
Yeah, let's have a look, Derek. That's a good one. The first thing I'm shown is you're clearing away all the clutter. It's as if you have a kitchen sink and there's stuff everywhere. And I'm not saying you do, by the way. It may be metaphorically speaking. I'm quite sure it is. But it's almost like clearing that kitchen sink away. Or it is almost, again, even, bear with me. I don't usually get this personal. And again, I'm quite sure it's a metaphor, but they're showing it to me. So I'm going to say it. It's as if you had stuff all over, for instance, even under the kitchen table, and you felt like having a wild, passionate, moment with your partner. It's like, like you see in the movies, get all that stuff off the table and have that moment of wild passion. Okay. And the thing that can, shall we say, support you and your partner at this time is, it almost feels, and I know it won't necessarily be easy, but it does seem to be very valuable and worthwhile, is to empty what's in the mind, what's in the thought realm or egoic mind, or however you want to say, the analytical mind, even around what you think what you've been told, what you think is, or how you both think things may be. It's almost like if I could tip you both upside down and shake you and energetically let everything fall out like a salt and pepper shaker, I would tip you both back up and go, okay, now you're empty, you're free to start again. And again, easy for me to say, I'm not in your shoes, so please don't think I'm being insensitive. It feels there's There is more that wants to come in from the universe, but there needs to be space for this to come in. And in your case, in Jodie's, it's like, go get out there, be in space to find space. In yours, it feels like, how can you both find space within? Some of that might feel within the home. Some of it may feel in the mind. And when I say in the home, it's not always an easy thing to do, yet it sends a very strong message really to the universe around what we're wanting. Sometimes even doing things like, we're going to set up a space anyway for a child, or I'm going to get rid of, I don't know, that old collection of whatever it is, magazines or something that I don't really need, knowing that there's a child coming. I'm going to need more storage space for the child. So it feels like doing even things like that together, it's almost like putting music on, going, right, we're going to change the house a bit or our apartment or whatever, and we're going to just think, right, we've got a baby coming. We don't know exactly when or how, exact date or time yet, but we're doing this. So let's get back into the excitement around that. So what would we be doing if you were already pregnant? What would we be doing? Okay, we need to sort this out. I need to go and do that. And maybe you need to get in the garage, and maybe we need to start looking at some prams or whatever, at least see what's around, and letting yourselves feel excited, because it feels at the moment there's this heavy energy that's coming down, heavy, heavy, heavy. Now, the thing with making babies, I don't care how we make them. I have ex, 2 women with a baby. We did it, a different way again to probably most people. But the thing is that what we're all needing in these situations is flow. And that's the way the universe is showing. It's that flow. And it's that flow of, love even between a couple. It's the flow of, if we're even intimate and making love, there is flow there. Even if it's a situation where we might be doing that and doing IVF, it's like, how can we bring more flow even into IVF? Now, those places can be quite sterile and bright lights and not feel that. But again, it can still create a space where 2 partners feel that we're creating room for this to be a place of excitement, to be a place of it being anticipation, even of allowing ourselves that joy to let that come in, because there is a baby. Okay, there is a baby. It does feel stuck. It feels stuck as if it's not coming in yet. And sorry, I wanted to see that part for you, and I see it. And it does feel, again, not that it's blaming either of you. Please don't think that, because at the end of the day, our soul comes on its timing too, not always ours. Just because we think we're ready or we think it has to be like this doesn't mean that soul's like, yeah, I'm coming in, guys. It might be like, no, we've got another 2 years, leave me alone. So sometimes we have to come into some faith around that. There is a soul there, but it does feel that there's some layers for you and your partner, and bear with me, I'm being a bit personal here, but some layers for you both to release. And some of that can be around certain fears or limitations that might be presenting themselves at the moment around falling pregnant. Yet those fears and limitations are sometimes been there in your lives anyway, regarding other matters. And so it feels very much the universe saying, just clear some of that clutter out, a little bit out of the home in a way that feels it's a bit more spacious and ready, some out of the mind so it feels it's spacious and ready. And may you, if anything, the 2 of you come back to knowing that there is a little one there. It does want to come through. It will find its time. And I'm going to be really real with you. You 2 could be really stubborn and go, oh, listening to sin, that's rubbish, and we're still going to stay in fear. And that little one's going to squeeze through anyway, what I'm showing. It will squeeze through the block. You're not going to get this wrong. But it feels like it's an opportunity for you both just to go, okay, let's just reflect. How are we approaching this? What space are we both coming in? Is sometimes one of us a bit fearful and then the other one joins in with the fear? Could maybe the other one go, no, I'm not joining in with the fear. We've got to come back to the flow. Let's remember how excited we are, how lovely it is going to be to hold this little one, knowing it's coming in. knowing it's going to push its way in anyway. And can we just giggle about that instead and lighten it all up?
Yeah. Yeah, because I have felt like, like I overanalyze things and just, like you said, kind of need to kind of change my mindset and just clear that other kind of old way of thinking. And I guess physically and also, metaphorically, you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not always easy, Derek, you know, for people in this situation. It's not always easy. And yet there are probably many of us in all sorts of situations where sometimes we don't have a choice. And that's when we are invited, really, I believe, by the universe to surrender, to let go. And it's almost when we fully surrender and go, do you know what? I'm going to let go because I realize I can't control it with my mind or my actions or this or that anymore. I'm actually just going to let go. And then you're probably going to feel a lot less tightness even in the chest, any angst that's going on, because I can feel that in the back of my back and my chest. It's like it's tight. You'll be able to breathe. Someone's taking a big sigh out and breathing, going, you know, I don't have to be responsible for this. This is a divine thing. Children are souls. They enter through us. They choose their families. This child's already chosen us. It's a divinely timed matter. So that means hands off the wheel for me. I get to relax, start to get prepared for that mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever ways you want to, and enjoy that part.
Okay. Thank you, Sin.
Pleasure. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Derek. Bree.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Bree. How are you?
Very well. Good to see you. I would like to put it out to source, but I guess my question would be, where should I be focusing my energy in the short and medium term? I guess I've had some longer term kind of ideas, which I think I do want to head towards, but I think that I'm stuck in the next phase of where to just focus my energy.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's check. The short-term view looks like it needs to be fun is the first word they're giving me. And in that sense, because it's not having to sort of roll out of bed and hit the alarm and go to work or do whatever you're doing, it feels like just jumping up, bouncing out of bed because you're actually really excited to go and do what you need to do. And it's not around you putting intellectual limits or mental limits around this. I'm going to give you the perfect example. So, for instance, if you felt, well, I should do this because that's going to make me this much money to be in the long-term strategy, the universe shows me it's like, let go of that, you know, the step-by-step thing. It feels, the antithesis feels the opposite. It is when you choose the joy and really get involved and immersed in what you do, that you flourish and what you're doing becomes bigger. It's like a bubble that's expanding and it gets bigger and bigger, a hot air balloon that's like being inflated higher and higher, you know, bigger and bigger and goes higher and higher. And that hot air balloon would still take you to that destination that is there for you in the future. I do feel there's a move in the future and a change of lifestyle, but you are not being asked, shall we say, to skimp right now or minimize on the joy to get to the longer term reality that you're already manifesting. So if you knew you're already going to be there and you are going to be there, it does free you up to let more of your own energy, I want to say, outward and flow to connect with the energy from the universe that's around you that feels like it wants to dance with you, move in and out with you. Sorry, I've got bad dance moves, guys. But, you know, move in and out with you. And so there's that nice, you know, that nice interaction, that nice flow happening. Bree, there is an offering that you have. And I often find this with clients, and I don't know if this is just, do I just seem to happen to just get these people, all of you, or is it just a universal thing that's happening? I probably think that. I think there's a lot of light workers here and people bringing in, you know, all sorts of wonderful ideas and innovations and love and healing and all sorts of things. But the way they show me is there's something within you that's, it's like it's pulsing. And it needs to not just pulse within, it needs to be able to pulse on the outside and connect with others. It needs to be able to ripple out, be free. And in that way, it's almost like a wave rippling through someone else, and they feel it and it ripples out through somebody else. I really do feel that you're lining up with that. It may be more a matter of you coming into faith within yourself that you can really do this and deliver on this in a way that you could say is beneficial for others. It will be. And yet also reminds you that it's also going to be advantageous for you in different ways, financially as well. You don't need to sit and wait, and you don't need to sit back, and you don't need to play it safe. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah. Not think, no.
I know.
Sorry, I don't mean to sound like very bossy there. It's because I can feel, what you think is, you can say, I know, because you are right. What you're thinking is that thing. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Get out there and just do it, however it happens for you. I will say this to you. Sometimes I say to people, just get out and start taking baby steps. For you, it feels like get out there with a bang. The world is ready, or whoever your audience or clients, or, however that is for you, they're there. You just need to go, hey, I'm here, I'm on stage, turn the lights on. That's how it feels. It's not like you're going to have to spend the next 3 years studying to do this even. It's get out there and just get into it, because getting into it and doing it, it's for you, it's almost unfolding. It's like everything crumbles out of the way and it's just there. So it's a nice quick path forward for you on this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Exciting times.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Total pleasure. Jackson.
Hi, Sin.
Hello.
I was wondering if there's any sort of guidance around wealth and finances related to sort of me and our family.
Yeah.
Curious to know anything in the short and long term.
Okay. Let's have a look. I'm showing you, Jackson, opening a little door on the front of your chest. And while there's this knowledge of, in a way, I'm going to call it a peripheral knowledge almost of who you are, what your capabilities are and your potential, it feels as if it's still on the peripheries and not being fully owned. And that can be sometimes evidenced by, say, for instance, a partner or friends or peers or whoever it is, family might say, oh, Jackson, we know you're going to do this, or Jackson, we know you're going to succeed, or Jackson, you should do this, or Jackson, whatever, and all good and well-meaning and good intentions, by the way. Yet it's around you sitting quietly with yourself, almost like in meditation, and being patient, as if you're sitting and you're watching that door actually open. It feels like there needs to be a metaphysical shift for you around this, or you could call it an energetic one around. Now that a big sigh out, I keep feeling sometimes people's tension tonight. And it feels or pressures even, and it feels around you breathing into that big strong chest, that big loving heart. I think I've seen something like this for you before. You're almost like this lion that does have this incredible roar, though you would never bite or attack, but you have still this powerful roar, which is a message. And there still seems to be sometimes the quieter you that sits back and waits. Now, we all can do that. And sometimes we do that because the time is not yet. All right. Yet it feels for you, can you allow the rest of yourself, almost your physical self and your intellectual self, start to line up with the emotional self, That includes the sensitivity, because that's part of your gifts. It's not a weakness to be sensitive or to feel. That is part of your gifts. It's perfect for what you're here to do. But can you bring that rest of you and embody that space, Jackson, so that you start to back up yourself and you start to line up with that? Because there's thoughts that sometimes see it and go, oh, yeah, I could do that. Oh, yes, I can do this. Or, yes, I am good at that. But it feels like they come and they go. The thoughts, they're fleeting. And what you're wanting to cultivate is a deep knowingness within yourself of an inherent knowingness even. This is who I am. This is what I do. And this is how I show up. I want to say even for others in the world. And when you do that, everyone feels it from you. It's like you are so present, you are so embodied within you that it's unmistakable that you are owning what it is that you want to do. And in that way, you will attract, I'm going to say clients / money, income. The flow is there. And right now, it's as if the flow is, I don't know, maybe 6 feet further away from you. Energetically, that's how it feels like. There's all this, the stuff there, the things that wants to happen, things that want to happen for you.
Yeah.
And the main thing is you taking, I'm going to call it quiet time, to meditate and to connect with that deeper self of who you are, emptying the thoughts, emptying any old conditioning, any limits. You probably already have lots of great tools for that. But again, what's beautiful about that is when you walk that path, you can walk alongside others that have to do the same thing or are getting ready to. You've done the journey yourself, so who better to guide another than someone that's gone, I've been there, I've got a pretty good idea what you're going through. I'm not you, so I can't know totally, but I've got a pretty good idea. And then the flow does happen. It's like, again, it's opening this little door across here, opens this bigger door to this newer reality, and the flow is there. And I want to say this to you, you will feel very good about yourself, because I do get a sense that when you bring in the income as well, or more income as well, it does prop you up. It does help inflate your sails on your own ship. And yet at the same time, though, while you're just floating along the waters, even if, somebody else in the family is contributing, or he feels contributing a bit more at the moment, don't worry. Your main focus right now is to blow some wind in your own sails, not egoically, but truly deeply within, by connecting deeper with the truth of who you are, minus any of the thinking. You'll be that force to be reckoned with. And people know that. If I walked around, and I'm sure you would all agree, if I was questioning myself 100 times a day, can I channel? Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? And don't get me wrong, channeling takes a lot of bravery. There was a period of time where you have to go, I can do this. Brand new client, and you're starting out, don't know them. Can I do this? Yeah, if I get out of my head, I can do anything, and I can channel beautifully. And it's similar for you. Get out of your head. You can do this. You will do this. It's just more a matter of you owning it. And because once we do that, like the audience would feel, or clients or whatever of mine would feel, is that they just, I guess they're not even thinking twice whether I can channel, because they sense from me that I know I can do this and that I love to do it. And that's a privilege to be of service. It'll be a very similar thing, I imagine, for you. You will be of service. You will know what to do. You will know what to say. You will know how to assist others. It's all there. But it's you finding more of yourself in that, not what's up here. There's a really good saying. I've got to remember who said it now. That was a Mel Robbins podcast with somebody. This other woman had said that everybody says to do something, your confidence to do something, but sometimes what we need to do to get to somewhere, that's right, you need confidence, but you said what you need is courage, because until we're actually really doing that thing in, day out, and we've got the experience which builds the confidence, we need the courage for that leap of faith to get us there. And I don't know if you're a Leo, and I don't know what your totem animal is, but I get the lion thing with you. Be the lion. You're not going to be an aggressive lion, but you are going to lead and you're going to be powerful. But you've got to breathe in the lion energy and know, yeah, this is me. I'll sit on top of that rock and I will talk to others and we'll do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you just spoke directly to my soul that entire time. That's awesome. I've been trying. It's been a practice like the last 2-3 weeks. I've sort of committed to trying to drop in through meditation to specifically, I guess, get to that like deeper identity or truth. And that's just like it's hard to process, but it's nice to know that that's like I'm sort of doing the right things. Maybe it's just more of it. Yeah.
You are. And you know, I'll probably say this to you too. When you drop in, imagine that you don't even need to process that. All you're remembering is that you're connecting with you. Like one of the things I love to do at night, and I've started to do again, everyone, and I forgot how much I love it. It's just even before I sleep, I usually listen to a meditation. I don't mind admitting this, on Insight Timer by Kenneth Saws. It helps me. But before I even listen to Kenneth lately, I've been just sitting quietly in communion with the divine, not asking questions, not seeking guidance, not seeking anything, but just being present to it, even though I do this for a living. But it's that thing of feeling just that connection, just feeling it. And that's what I feel is going to benefit you. It's just feeling that connection to you. You don't need to talk yourself into it, Jackson. You don't need to, you could say even in a sense, rewire your brain. It's more around you just knowing I take that quiet time, even if I've meditated. And the main reason why I quieten my mind is so that I just hear me. I just feel right into me and I'm fully present to me. And when you start to do that, even what I want to say is on like an energetic or even cellular level, I think you're going to start to feel as if you're going to feel into how your cells are actually bubbling away. It's as if like parts of you are bubbling away, excited to be and do what it is that you're going to be doing and being. So let yourself feel into that kind of effervescence, enthusiasm that's already bubbling away for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thanks, Sin.
My pleasure. I hope you didn't mind the Lion King kind of references, but
I loved it.
But it did. I saw you almost like, I think, is it Simba, the nice, lovely little lion, like on the top of the rocks. It's almost like this young lion, but roaring, and everyone listens. And again, not because you need to roar loudly or, as I said, aggressively, but you have things to say. People want to listen. There are going to be those that benefit. So in parting, I will say this to you. Another thing to do, I saw this with a mentoring client recently, was to envisage why you're doing what you're doing. Connecting with the future visions you have of probably working with people or individuals, however it is. It could be communities. That's the sorts of things I see with you, is connecting with how that's going to feel, because that can be your motivation to go, yeah, I can connect, I can do this, because it's not just about you. You're actually going to support and assist others. And for any single one of us that's doing that in any way, that'll, even as parents, that's a privilege. So that can sometimes help us float towards that bigger goal. Yeah.
Thanks, Sin.
Pleasure. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was a very lovely evening. Lovely to read for you all. I look forward to connecting with you all in and amongst, this coming month, or otherwise at another one of the Downloading Light events. Yeah. Wish you all well. Take care. Thank you to Source too.